Hello, Mwakwaba eba apologetic jumedi so we chariot TV. Na wonu se sa jumedi we say the Jebre ye fa Bible ye bia mu ye bisa questions empem bebre won tie enti now so questions hu hia ye pa bi ti say so onyankopon bi wo ho ana so onyankopon bi ani ho asoma wo wi ase no Hindu som Christo som Buddha som emu de wa he na de nipa kwaje mu na enne question ye yi ano anase dwumedie no de ye adwendwen ho no asem bi esi na ye nyina nipa bebre na bisabisa ho nsem ya ye Christopher die etwase ye yi sa nsem bisa afoforo de ba nsem bisa benya asem bisa ne ba ko adi mu ntintima yi pa eni o say if God exists why evil se nyankopon wo ho no de adenti na nipa bonefo anase adebone eto nipa obiase nti we ene yesusu ho ewo apologetic jumodie so na preacher no no ewo ye nchen obeboae ametunya saa de chen we se mu ntiase no ani wahuni da host show on Chariot TV nidin ede Mr. Jonathan Mensa Bosu yemo akwaba
nya
na bibia
boko na nso
nyankopon adaro ma bibia kama pa na ene yedi enkomo yedi no anase asema yeyi ano e wa apologetic so no die si ye na nsen ya asema arahosem kese pa si wo Ghana say ye tin say one of the good footballers wo Ghana Christian Achu wakabebi na sa asem ni si ye no e dey a lot of news about up because he's not just a footballer or a very philanthropic or a lot of good things for so many people. You say oko prisons just say or nyoma pa oko schools or nyoma bebre chaman for kase so nyankopon bia poni ho say nyame bi wo pa dia adenti na de bonnet say earthquake here see bia ne Turkey adenti na wo say esi obeboaye na ejina Bible so no and I say I'm here one if God exists why evil
me da say na me fa akonya isu na me nche ahwefo nyina say omojibre na omo subscribe to Chariot TV say obi fa akonya isu na on subscribe to Chariot TV me encourage ni say onipa na nyesa say ne bebeboa na nioma yesua na nioma ye che no so oti wenya mu chefa na me fa akonya no so enso so akai etifo say you jumedi sonko a Chariot TV ye tin subscribe akọ YouTube ni ade a se ne da ye kano no obetimi subscribe to your channel no na boa but a question no a emotional question if God exists why evil and this is an old question enye ye an AI yetiasi na ibusa this question it has been there since from time immemorial every bra nyame bo nipa na how ne nioma ekosu wiase no then men have asked these questions. Even prophets in the Bible, like Habakkuk, like Jeremiah, they have all asked this same question. Why does the wicked prosper? And then I say, why is it that the righteous and someone who is living right does not live for long? These are all questions Nipa Ibisa and Cinemeka. It touches the heart of the matter. Nipa Pino emotional issue. I want to show you two passages
before we go to the passages. I would like to highlight something for us. You just mentioned prophets in the Bible that speak like that are asking the same questions and amount for Bisano, which means the question is not so foreign to the Bible. Send amount for say I say I this room kubina esinti nyankopon anu yie ma no. I think they're very impressive. Say even prophets in the Bible asking similar questions.
Yeah, the Bible has been there for thousands of ages. I mean, well, even the New Testament, New Testament in its totality, in the sense of it has been there more than 1,500 years. So there can be questions that you are asking that no one has asked. Won't you musa some will be musa that from the Bible? Of course, maybe you can ask questions.
That's encouraging to know.
Yes, you can ask questions about economics, question about mathematics, question about physics and stuff like that. But when it comes to the Bible, you can ask a question that someone has never asked before. It has been there for time. It has been there. So that question is an old question. And it touches emotions. It's coming from emotion. And before possibly we talk about the two passages I'm talking about, which I will give,
Yeah.
I just want some distinctions to be a bit me making I should for to understand.
Okay.
The question you are asking is if God exists, why evil?
Evil.
Well,
Yes.
the English word evil, I-E-V-I-L, that word
Mm-hmm.
has to be defined well. The first
Okay.
thing is that your moral evil, and that's not what we are talking about. Moral evil, they
Mm-hmm.
say, that is a moral evil. That is a moral evil. That
Mm-hmm.
is a moral evil. Um, of Uji that's a moral evil. Uyade,
Yeah.
that's a moral evil. That's not what we are talking about. But what we are
Okay.
talking about is a natural evil. Natural evil as
Natural evil.
yes, that has to do with something like an earthquake happening. Say, oh, why is earthquake about? And I say, oh, why is a flood? In Sweden, na be here for nipa. And I say something like tsunami. Na be try. And I say,
Mm-hmm.
diseases like cancer. You walk crack it to be a credible no. You won't know disease be outborn. I mean, it's not his making. Yeah, be
Yeah.
anyway. Or baby, I say no person that diabetes. Nobody plans for that. We don't
Yeah.
plan things like
Yeah.
that. And nobody was born. I mean, it comes. Nobody was born with the intention say changing our diabetes. It's not like that. But these things happen. So this evil now yeah can want some. So when we say why evil we meant the natural evil. That category of things. Only here can want some. So like we cited an example like the earthquake in Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
for your record, well, Turkey has had series of earthquake years. So it's not and then that's the earthquake you see of Turkey. Anyway,
Mm.
but
Eh,
even in the
wait,
Bible time,
wait, yeah, sorry. With the
yeah,
question of moral evil and natural evil, I have, I want you to spend a little time on that for us. So,
yeah,
yeah, moral evil. Now, what's in common idea, and then if God exists, why evil? No? That
yeah,
evil must be defined.
yeah.
Now, any moral evil wants to now walk.
Yes. Well, moral evilness say don't pose a problem on issue like this.
Wait, now, boy, me at moral evil, na
Okay.
sekaka.
Moral evil no and say let's
Mm.
take for instance me sorry anopa
Mm-hmm.
mahu say ebi obi chi I mean my son opa na menam then
Yeah.
menam me tika mu me chika no then someone stopped then the person pull a gun and
Mm-hmm.
shot the o shooting them the person have murdered that
Yes.
murder well is that evil our yeah, has to do with morality. You see, it's the
Ah.
person's what is right and wrong, something
Mm.
that has nothing to do with intrinsic nature, like
Okay.
yeah, tsunami. It's nature. It's a body and I mean, it's
Nsuyiri kɛseɛ bi abɛsɛe ɛne ɛyɛ
yes,
natural.
yes, it has natural occurrences, but it does harm to us. That is why
Yes.
it's called evil. It does harm. You see, it does harm to humans'
Mm.
existence. It creates chaos. It's not ordered and yet
Yeah.
orderly. You get the point. So that is different from evil that I inflict that comes as a result of maybe my choice of baking. Like you chose to
Mm.
fornicate.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
that is that is moral evil, and that is
Okay.
not what we are talking about. I mean, that is not a problem. People don't even raise that question, but the question
Mm.
raised as concerned the existence of God in terms of evil, the existence of evil, no, has to do with moral, natural evil. That is
Natural evil.
earthquake,
Oh, okay.
tsunamis, diseases, those things. And who has some and people ebusa now that is the line
Thank you
of
for the
that
clarification.
omoko. Yeah, that's
Okay. Okay. Anyway, if now we know the distinctions between evil, say or natural, your moral, and we are, and the focus is on the natural evil. Now, question is said, does God exist, and does the existence of such evil, where a natural evil, does it pose a challenge to God's existence? Say, Nyankopɔn wɔ hɔnom no, say evil, natural one you wɔ hɔnom a, does it pose a big challenge to that God?
well, your first answer is obvious. Obvious in the sense of charity. We defend the gospel. Yesu Christo na sempa no.
Mm,
Ana ye gina ye koma. And
yeah.
definitely say Yesu Christo asempa na ye koma. Then it certainly means that we believe that God exists. And
Okay.
UPA Bible now, a casual reader will definitely come to the conclusion that there is a God. Because
Okay.
Genesis 1:1, I say if it has said, so
Yeah.
casual reading of the Bible even gives you a hint that there is God. And we believe the Bible in total, from Genesis to Revelation, as the revealed word truth and okay. There are several arguments or several directions we can advance to prove the Bible's authenticity and genuineness, and credibility. So if you can prove that, then definitely it means that what he's saying about God is true. And we can also prove God from outside the Bible using the created things, and those things are not, I don't think those are the focus of our discussion. But Ubusamia, as I said, it's obvious and easy to answer that yes, we believe that God exists. And the second question is that one, it kind of give
With
it
regards
needs
to evil.
explanation. Yes.
Yes.
Most people know what we are saying. Not okay, let me say most people, but some people in the world, they believe we say the problem of evil in existence pose a problem for the existence of God. Theology, we call it theodicy.
Theodicy.
Theodicy. Theodicy. Yes. That means that the problem of the existence of evil pose a problem for the existence of God. That is what they believe. And some people believe that something that shows inconsistency with the existence of God has to do with the problem of evil. And the reason why they are saying that as an American, it's an old problem.
Okay.
You remember, say, as my phone you might do so do watching Acts chapter 17, verse number
Yes.
18.
Paul.
Paul Athens, the Bible
Yeah.
said that he met some group of philosophers. One was Epicurean philosophers, and one was Stoics.
Stoics. Yeah.
Good. Yes. Epicurean philosophers come from their source come from a man called Epicurus.
Yeah.
Several years ago, before even Jesus Christ came on earth, this Epicurus formulated what we call trilemma. Trilemma means that
Trilemma.
yes, tri is tri, lemma is lemme. Trilemma.
Okay.
Trilemma means that me arrange statements. Tri means is three, so it's three statements that seeks to
Yeah.
prove something. So Epicurean thought that he has found a problem with the existence of God and its incompatibility with the existence of evil. So he formulated a trilemma, and this is how it goes. Mpɛsɛ meka kakra na
Okay.
ɛboa yɛ ma yɛte aseɛ. The first trilemma ne say, is God willing to prevent evil but unable to do so? Then he is
I
omnipotent.
think okay. Continue. Me
You see,
wo
that is his first.
wa hunting can me person me show na adofo
Okay.
ehwe.
Well,
Okay. Nti ba wet na to aso.
yes, this first trilemma say, is God willing to prevent evil but unable to do so? Then he is malevolent. Yes. Is he able to prevent evil but unwilling to do so?
Yeah.
Then he is malevolent. Then if
Yeah.
God is both willing and able to prevent evil, then why is there evil in the world? So this is a Epicurean trilemma, I think he posed. Well, yours is, I think, seems to be four anyway, but that is
Yeah.
Epicurean's trilemma, which he posed. And so many philosophers have utilized this and seems to talk against the existence of God. So I think my main fan now I should
Okay.
expand. We look at some few passages, then we talk about some of these issues. One, our kind so say, well, is God willing to prevent evil but unable to do so? Then he's not omnipotent. You see,
Yeah.
Epicurean, Edwin said, and so many philosophers think so, that the attributes of God, like God's all goodness, like God is benevolent, He's all good. All good come from God. Two, God is omnipotent. They believe that the concept of evil seems to contradict at least one
The
of them.
nature of God.
Yes, at least in one of these attributes. Either it is contradicting His benevolence, that is His goodness, or it's
Yeah.
contradicting His power. And that is what they think. So his first trilemma is that, is God willing to prevent evil but unable? Then he is not omnipotent. Nyankopɔn hwɛ wiase na ohunu sɛ ɛhaw ne amane wɔ hɔ, but ɔpɛ sɛ ɔprevent osi ɛhaw no ano kwan a na wɔntumi nyɛ a, then it means that ɔnyɛ omnipotent. At least yɛwɔ nneɛma bi a ɔntumi nyɛ.
Yeah.
So it means that ɔnyɛ omnipotent.
Ontimi nya nneɛma bi.
Yes. Then the second issue, they say, well, is God able to prevent evil but not willing to do so? Nyankopɔn betimi asi ɛhaw kwan, but onyɛ nya adwen sɛ ɔbɛyɛ.
Obey. Yeah.
So onye there, then it means that he's malevolent. In other words, onye all good. Nyankopɔn timodin for because if a how ne amane eba, na Nyankopɔn wo tumi se obesi ho kwan a.
Now when you
Na we nani watwi nani na onya. Then it means that God is not a good God. Onye all good. Then his third point or his third trilemma, and he said, is God both willing and able to prevent evil? Then why is there evil in the world? So Nyankopɔn all powerful and all good. Then the question is, why is there evil? And Epicurus thought that he has found a way of performing God's funeral. Let me put it that way: performing God's funeral. Well,
I think there was a time somebody made a bold statement. Happy on Time magazine say God is dead. So maybe if you say that, yes, the person is trying to say, okay, yeah, finally we've been able to clear the idea of God. So God is dead.
Friedrich Nietzsche was one of them. Well, there's a philosopher called J.L. Mackie. I don't know whether you have heard of him. Okay. J.L. Mackie. Mackie is, I think, A-C-K-I-E, something like that. Mackie. On several of these things, and he had issues with evil and God existence and things like that. So if you read upon, you see that there are people like that in the world who think that there's a problem with God's attribute. And it's incompatible with the presence of evil. In fact, there are people who believe that as long as you see there's pains and suffering in the world, then definitely there can't be God. Well, this whole issue, it also touches emotions, has something to do. In the Bible, we see even people saying that, or we see people doubting the existence of God because of pains and suffering in their life. I want us to read this passage, Judges.
Okay.
Judges chapter 6.
Judges 6.
Verse number 11. 11. Okay. Ever. You remember, 6, verse 11. Yeah, in a time of Gideon, there was one judge called Gideon. If you remember in the book of Judges.
Yes.
Now, the Israelites were oppressed by the Midianites. Kophobia no motata Israel for to the extent that Israel for no now Midianites na beseno. They were destroying their farmlands, their farm produce, their stuff. They were destroying everything. So Israel for be na and Gideon himself akwatete na ohome baby or cave bima or ye ni wheat kakra na or their survival and Honor be assemblies here. That is the context of the passage. Judges chapter 6, if you can read it.
Verse number 11. Now the angel of the Lord came and sat under the terebinth tree, which was in Ophrah, which belonged to Joash the Abiezrite, while his son Gideon threshed wheat in the winepress in order to hide it from the Midianites. And the angel of the Lord appeared to him and said to him, the Lord is with you, mighty man of valor.
Good.
Gideon said to him.
So you see the context. Gideon, he's hiding, and the angel of the Lord appeared to him and said, hey, what could do for? And I will be something like that. Man of valor, mighty man of valor. Yes.
Gideon said to him, oh my Lord, if the Lord is with us, why then has all this happened to us?
You see, that is coming because of suffering that he's facing. You see, only suffering more, that question won't come.
Yes.
Now some of ebusa about phone say, hey, say Nyankopon pa eka ye ho a, and then asanima we nyina happen to you.
This is exactly the question that people are asking today.
Yes, we will continue the reading. But that is the question that Gideon is asking. And it's coming because of when there is suffering, then there is pain, when there is this natural evil in this world, and it's causing chaos and destroying things, then people start asking the questions. Still, people start they start to be doubts in their minds, and then all kind of incident you see recently taking, say Mount and it's simply because they thought that God should intervene. God should definitely intervene in this and try to stop this thing. And Gideon was also having the same thing. Well, you have read about God in the Bible. I mean, the Israel for the Ottomana. I mean, even I think there's why don't God destroy the Midianite? Why is God?
This is so close to their time even than us. People say,
yes,
Brother Gideon, a ben sa brand chain yempo. Inti ade
Yes.
na ko be bisa
God,
sa asem.
this question was legitimate. Say, now, ya
Yeah,
kind
very
of
legitimate.
some Bible ni mu say, well, o pipe mu ma Israel for the famu, o the mununkum ni ade, o to man and I mean all these signs and great wonders are why you will be as no. If your people, nkro for ankasa, e wo ho na e haw ni amane aba yen so, media for tete ya. Na won kasa. Why di na won kasa? Why is all these things happening? So his point was that God should have destroyed this Midianite. But kan kakra. See,
and where are all his miracles which our fathers told us about, saying, Did not the Lord bring us up from Egypt? But now the Lord has forsaken us and delivered us into the hands of the Midianites.
yes,
Then
you
the
see,
Lord.
so that was the passage that I mean I wanted to draw your attention to. So it's it's not strange. It's an old problem. So it's not new. Say yeah, I live with 21st century. Possibly are asking questions like that. That's been asked over and over and over again, and the answers
This
has
is
been offered over
this
and over.
question, what we are reading now really hits home because if Gideon, who is a judge,
Yeah,
is having this, then it's very natural and it's a human response whenever there is chaos, whenever there is we always tend and ask questions of where is God?
yeah,
But normally, when we are so happy and things seem okay, see, yes, Ghana, I check statistics, I say Ghana is the second most peaceful country to live in Africa after Mauritius and some
okay,
are Botswana. Eti say no obiara nka da say yɛda nyame ase paa sɛ Ghana nyame yɛni haw bia wɔ ha but sɛ
yeah,
ako ne amanneɛ hyɛ aseɛ sɛ ɛba nyame wɛn
yeah.
where is God? So I think it's a very natural response. Wow.
Yeah,
But
let me even
okay,
ask you, and let me even add one passage to it so that
okay,
it will throw more light. You see, let's go
sure,
to the New Testament. Wait, Old Testament. Let's go to the New Testament. You
sure.
see, in the New Testament, one great man or appear during the close of the Judeo system, and then John the Baptist. You realize
Yeah.
John came and Zachariah Bano by around trying to preach to people, trying to convert them to the way. In fact, Ose Najuma several months before Jesus, he pointed out that Jesus Christ is the one, the one. In fact, on the boy, Jesus, so certainly he believed that Jesus Christ is the chosen one.
Yeah.
I want us to read a passage in Matthew chapter 11, and
Matthew
that
11.
at Matthew 11, na John, to a fiasi. You remember he was going around and preaching,
Yes.
and he
Osumane
told Herod.
messengers.
Yes, he told Herod that, well, Herod, is not lawful for you to have your brother's wife. It's unlawful.
Yeah.
You can't have your brother's wife. What Herod is Jomina, a catcher Herod to say, what worry Umiare, and when the opportunity came, Herod arrested him and need to cells. So when John was in prison, even at the prison, he was hearing about the mighty works of Jesus. But the point is that John thought that, well, yes, well, to me, why can't he free me from this cell and let me go free? Listen to John. Listen to John, Matthew chapter 11, verse number 1 to 3.
Okay.
John and Kasenumu, Matthew
Matthew
11, chapter
11.
11, verse number
Okay.
1 to 3.
Now it came to pass
Mm-hmm.
when Jesus finished commanding his 12 disciples that he departed from there to teach and to preach in their cities.
Mm-hmm.
And when John had heard in prison about the works of Christ, he sent two of his disciples
Mm-hmm.
and said to him, Are you the coming one?
Mm-hmm.
Um, or do we look for another? Verse
Yes.
4.
Don't worry about verse 4. You see, John, Yesu Christo in Senchenia, Woyano, or Suman is for no, Emma Oko, Yesu Christo in chain. And your question was just simple. The question is this: Are you the coming one, or we should look for another? Only the urban and I simply because in John's scheme of things, he was thinking that this time Jesus should free him from prison. If Jesus have come, why will he be there in prison cells and I mean be suffering like that? So to me, and engineer, oh yeah, we said before for yare, one hour near flip any day, but I mean, Obi, I will Why can't you break me free from prison? In fact, funny, straight on the flip side, even prison break are there. People are doing that. Why can't you just break me free from prison?
And Peter was saved from prison. Yankopɔn
Yes,
ma bunu no bie ma ne fa mu kɔ. Nti ade na
yes.
ɔmo
So
ma me na no.
yes, so it was legitimate. And then I make one. You see, when they are suffering, when there are troubles, then doubt starts coming in. See,
Yeah.
Senior can say if there are things are going on well, we don't even question God's existence. We don't even think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Or most people's status is in Senior no can I serve a great God. I serve a big God. I mean, but if
Yeah.
things are down, obey the own post to be. The
Oh
point is
yeah.
that is how people, that is how humans, our nature is that when these things start happening, then we go into despair. Then we start asking questions that Nyankopɔn nso wɔ in the scheme of things. Why is, if God is there, then why are all these things happening
I,
to us? And why are we
I
suffering?
think with the point now making, it's just like an argument one preacher you see here, and he was saying, say normally 1 hour time bisa some of these questions, even sometimes yempo e Christopher say I didn't say nyankopon ho no especially bra aeroplane because crash in I think one of the countries no
Yeah,
obiara sha say nana mofrate plane man na nyankopon anje omo nkwa and a
yeah,
preacher na so flip question bi say ɛnɛ ya wokɔ hospital a maamefo a ɛtumi awo ama ɔmo nya ɔmo mma ato ɔmo nan so no ɛboro 1000 nti ɛkyerɛ sɛ nyame bi nso wɔ hɔ eti sɛ woka sɛ nipa ewu nti nyame bi eni hɔ de na nipa nso a anka wɔ sɛ ɔmo wu ɔmo ewu ɔmo te asase so no ɛno nso kyerɛ sɛ nyame wɔ but I think sɛ yɛfa no from saa emotional point na ɛmmoa yɛ ma yɛntumi ntem
yeah. It
another
won't
side
help
bi.
us because the maker said the reason why some people see serious problems with the compatibility of the existence of God and the existence of evil no, has to do with emotions. So it's more of emotion driven issue. But the
Yeah.
point is that the Bible offers some reasons. We don't have all reasons, but the Bible
Yeah.
offers some reasons why evil exists. There is some reasons why there's tsunami, some reasons why there's earthquake, some reasons. The Bible offers some reasons why God allowed these things. So we can explain some of these things by trying to understand what the Bible has said on issues not yet here once, but if someone brings the emotions inside, then it destroys the whole thing. But before possibly we continue,
Before that was no maame ne
yeah,
me ahwɛfoɔ anim nkɔmmɔ kakra bi mmra sisie ya yo etiefoɔ ne adɔfo no yɛda mo nyinaa mo ase sɛ moaka yɛn ho abɛdu saa mpɛmpɛ so sɛ wohwɛ program yi nko adeɛ ɛna ne bɛhyɛ wo nkuran sɛ wobɛ subscribe to Chariot TV na afei nso bɛ like yɛ Facebook page no ɛna yɛ Twitter handle no. So wowɔ any question wode fa any of the handles ne so a yɛnsa bɛka yɛwɔ programs ahodoɔ a yɛyɛ on Chariot TV. Monday biara yɛde dwumadi a yɛfrɛ no Love and Family Corner ɛba wo nkyɛn. Sundays ɛyɛ point out. Tuesdays dwumadi a yɛde ba wo nkyɛn ɛyɛ Bible answers. Ɛna afei nso Wednesdays biara yɛde text talk ɛyɛ very interesting sermons na yɛde ɛbrɛ wo. Ɛna afei Thursdays ne yɛayɛ apologetical sɛdeɛ ne muhu. Friday biara yɛ show debate by Church of Christ Brothers a ɔne afoforɔ ayɛ. Ɛna afei Saturday ɛyɛ straight talk. Mehyɛ wo nkuran sɛ wonya follow yɛ a follow ne yɛfa mmɔ new program yɛbɛba no nso nsa bɛtumi aka yɛbɛkɔ na sima bɛyɛ sɛ num preacher aboa na yɛde nkɔmmɔ no ɛsi yɛbɛtie no.
yeah. I now make us about young come back to the trilemma of Epicurus. Say Epicurus
Okay.
and with young chassis and looking at some few things which I think say about why now a best survey as a bedrock now your understanding on things happen. One assumption Epicurus and it's to most people making is the issue
Yeah.
of omnipotent.
Okay.
When we say omnipotent, simplistic definition might be that God can do all things, right?
Yeah.
Good. But that is a simplistic definition of, the word omnipotence. In fact, the Bible teaches that there are things that God cannot do.
Wow.
There are things,
Uh, this is very interesting. This is very interesting
yeah,
to
and
study.
I'll point some of the passages to you and even show you what I mean by that. So, say, yeah, catch it on the passage. Well,
The point is that there are things God cannot do.
yes, there are things
Really.
that God cannot do, and I can point some of these things to you. Senebea, we can even have a clear understanding on things and maker. You see, like I say, God is omnipotent. Our point is not to say that, well, God does all things. First of all, God doesn't do something which is illogical or inconsistent or a contradiction. God does not do a contradiction.
Okay.
Let me give you an example. God cannot create a married bachelor. You see,
Obi a
that is
worry a all sound worry.
yes, we can't have a married bachelor. That is inconsistent. That is illogical. You see, a contradictory. Mamin kanisa. You see, so don't expect God to create such a thing. So you can say, "Nyankopɔn to me a we are not telling you that God can do things that are inconsistent with logic and are inconsistent with his nature. Mama, another example. God cannot make a rock so big that he cannot lift. Oh, on your
On to me na work e see on one kasa on to me peja. Wow.
yes, that is a
It's
contradictory.
inconsistent with his nature. No?
Yes, you are asking God to do something which is illogical. And the Bible
Because
tells us
God
that
is omnipotent.
yes, yes, that is a simplistic definition that people have we are bought into it. But the point is that that is not a good definition. So,
Maybe some question will say, Yami say, yeah, first simplistic definition, say, Yami Tia did Yami Tia Boniana. Can God
that
say?
is
God
yes,
can do all things.
and I'm able to say, you see, the book of Hebrews.
Council maybe said, okay.
Yes, the book of Hebrews.
Hebrews chapter.
Yes, chapter 6, verse number 18.
Hebrews 6,
Yes,
verse
verse number 18.
18.
Yes.
Okay. That by two immutable things in which it is impossible for God to lie.
So, one of them is that God cannot lie. So, you can't even tempt God to sin. The Bible said it clear that you can't tempt God to sin.
Wow.
Right? You can't tempt God to sin. So, there are things that the Bible define that God that's as said nyankopon entiminye. Why? Because those things are inconsistent with his nature and they are illogical. They are illogical. Inti say Epicurus say, well, uh, why is it that God nipa ewu ne nyankopon ontimi nya na? You see, the assumption is that his point is that God should do anything. God should be able to do it. Take for instance, say nyankopon override the onipa free will. Think about it. Say me more will, more pay.
Yes.
Like sorry anopa. Then I walk out, then I see someone going. Mihu na me twisikan. Me twisikan na me de be wo no na nyankopon aso me nsa. See, those are happening in Nigerian movies.
They happen in Nigerian movies, not
Yes,
in
and Nigerian,
reality.
well, Ghanaians have repented anyway. I hardly see movies like that in Ghana anyway. Well, since the time of Chewa,
Any Indian movies, say,
yes,
Obi will go with you to meet you na he 3 days.
yeah. I mean, like for instance, maybe yeah, like omuyi movie say be obi a pastor or dina kupo echi then they omuyi bon sam akwabi na or the two obotu a pay na etu na poti agu na. I mean, these are things that happen in movies, not in reality. The point is that God doesn't override free will like that. He doesn't intervene in the world just trying to set aside your free will, my free will like that. Am I in free will? And with set things comes certain responsibility and certain downside of it. That deeper bit money so see, like I said, God is omnipotent. I just want such a clarification with that. Say, then keep it at the back of our mind that omnipotent does not imply that God does inconsistencies or contradiction. It does not mean that. And that is an assumption that underlines that thinking. Say, if there is God and his there is evil, why don't God do it? God, if he doesn't do it, then he's not omnipotent. Well, God is omnipotent, he's all powerful, there is infinite, his power is infinite. Just that he does logical things, he does things which are coherent with his nature. On one setting, no, he doesn't
So
do that.
a holy God cannot be unholy.
Yes, on one September, no, no, muso. It doesn't do that. So
So
these are things that,
I have a question here and
yeah,
two questions. The first one is with regards to your kind. I'm sure this might run through some of the minds of our audience. Say, sana tier dia, say, you want your especially, say, two example out the
yeah,
Ghanaians are very, and I know on some WhatsApp pages, some common because to say, Obi on mo yo Christo ni, yakoko boni to nipa no nti kyɛ sɛ nyankopɔn na ɛyɛ nsɛnkyerɛnne ɛna saa wɔ nipa yi no even though yɛbɔ ne tuo bɛyɛ sɛ 5 anaasɛ 6 mpo well nti ɛno no na wopɛ sɛ ɔka kyerɛ nipa ne sɛ ɛnyɛ nyame na ɛgye ne nkwa nsɛnkyerɛnne nkwa so anaasɛ ɔte kaa mu kaa ne kɔnya accident ɔmmɔ kaa ne nyina obia wuyɛ ɔno nko a well ɛnyɛ nyankopɔn na ɛyɛ wo sɛ ɛnyɛ nyame na ɛyɛyɛ anaa saa na
yeah,
woka
yeah. We have to talk about even miracles to be able to appreciate the miracle. In most cases, what people call miracles are not miracles. They are just um, surprising events. And they are one.
ɛneɛ sɛ
Marvelous events.
yɛmmerɛ ne nti no yɛmmerɛ ne
Yeah,
nti no sɛ wopɛ a yɛbɛtumi ahyɛ daa
yeah.
nya mmerɛ
We
next
can
week
take time. Yeah, we can take
na
time and talk
yɛnkɔ
about things like that and
yes
deal with it. But
yes
I just wanted to clarify the point that when we say God is omnipotent, we shouldn't be thinking that God intervened just doing anything at all, something which is illogical, something which is inconsistent, something. I mean, God cannot even create as a triangle with 4 vertices. I mean, it's illogical. You see, it's illogical. Though God can do all things, doesn't mean that He does illogical things, and that's one of the underlining assumptions of Epicurean trilemma. I think possibly
wow
yeah, we can.
wow that is a lot of information compressed within this time Ayo, and we thank you so much for clarifying this for us nyankopɔn yɛ adom a nkɔmmɔne yɛmfa nsi ha dasɛnɛ yɛbɛhwɛ saa other concepts no ɛwɔ apologetic art sɛ so obi and this claim it's been on Twitter wohun bebree WhatsApp pages yɛte paa enti yɛbɛgye brɛ ebi a yɛtoa yɛn nkɔmmɔ no so no yɛbɛfa miracles as a whole on apologetic art na yɛahwɛ with regards to especially obi wɔ no ɔnyɛ atheist ɔgye tum sɛ yesu bi wɔ hɔ but sɛ ɔka kyerɛ obi a ɔyɛ atheist sɛ nyame bi wɔ hɔnom a these are some of the weak arguments I want to use na akɔfa issues bebree aba nti I think it is appropriate we dig deeper into it yɛda ase paa sɛ wonya abrɛ na wo ne yɛn edi nkɔmmɔ yɛn dɛ on if God exists why evil nyankopɔn hyia wo paa wode bɛma wo sima na wode wano di sɛm nyinaa aba awie na da foforɔ yɛatoa so
Yeah, as I said, the issue of or the problem of evil touches the heart and is an emotional issue. Uncle Haumuda, you might be thinking that well, all is gloomy, all is nice, every picture is nice and things like that. But say how near mania to then you start questioning these things. But I encourage all of us, make sure you name crying say you better now your Bible. Um, there are reasons. Bible nema some reasons as to the existence of evil and existence of God. Why God exists and He allowed evil. Why we offers reasons. And I believe that these reasons are encouraging enough. I bet you crying. Nama yetimi esuade afiri na yetimi tintim. Think about the story of Job. I mean, a man, first 2 chapters, he had a good life, but all of a sudden, it seemed that life is not fair. And sometimes that is how we think life is not fair. Like the case you cited, Achu case. I mean, doing good and doing great, and some people think that life is not fair. They are bad people. Sometimes we think that they are supposed to die, but certainly we take consideration. In case you have been in that situation, we will be a how near manibia to Yaribia Bo, I mean, there are things that has happened. You have lost a loved one, a dear one. It touches the heart of the matter. It's just that we just need God. That is all. We just need to trust God. No man can solve the issue. Well, in our argument and things like that, it's like maybe a questioner. They used to ask the Jews that, well, why do you believe in God? Possibly in our context, in our day and age, we'll be looking at well theological issues,
yeah
cosmological argument, ontological argument. I mean, all sort of theological, anthropological,
cosmological
but the Jews don't do that.
anthropological
The Jews had a simple way of answering. Why do you believe God exists? Their answer is that we got out of Egypt, did we not? Well, as far as we
True.
got out of Egypt, well, it proves that God exists, and that's not a theological issue or ontological issue or cosmological issue.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
a good answer for that. And I think you will sign off from here.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank
Um,
you.
why did we get out of Egypt? If God exists, then yeah, that's why we are here. That's a very
Yeah.
beautiful thing. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today, we discussed if God exists, why evil. My name is Derek Downso, and I encourage you to please subscribe and follow us for more because you will never be brave. You know, ever so check. Jumedi no apologetica Thursday 6:30, same day, same time next week. Ebe shia ni edi nkomo. Onyankopon ɔnhyira wo na ɔnyɛ wo kɛse. Yɛaka obi biara.